Hello warriors, Chanakya Neeti is not just a book, it's a mirror held against human nature. For more than 2000 years, kings, warriors, merchants, politicians, teachers, and ordinary people have turned to its wisdom to understand one dangerous truth. The world is not driven by emotions alone, it is driven by intelligence, timing, discipline, and the ability to understand people. Chanakya, also known as Kautilya or Vishnugupta, was the mastermind behind the rise of Maurya Empire in ancient India. He transformed a poor young boy, Chandragupta Maurya, into an emperor powerful enough to overthrow mighty kingdoms. But Chanakya did not win through brute force. He won through philosophy. He understood greed, fear, trust, power, betrayal, ambition, and the hidden weaknesses inside every human being. Chanakya Niti is the distilled essence of that understanding. This is not a soft philosophical book meant only to inspire. It is sharp, ruthless at times, practical, direct. Some teachings feel timeless, some feel controversial, but every line forces the listener to think deeply about the life. Now imagine this audiobook beginning not as a lecture but as a journey through kingdoms, betrayals, wisdom, war, friendship, ambition, discipline, and survival. Now let's enter the world of Chanakya. Chapter 1, The Foundation of Wisdom. Chanakya begins with a powerful idea. A human being without knowledge is like a blind man walking towards its destruction. He believed education is the greatest weapon in life, not wealth, not beauty, not family status, knowledge. Because wealth can be stolen, power can disappear, youth fades, but wisdom protects a person forever. Chanakya repeatedly says a wise person can survive anywhere. A educated person earns respect even among the strangers. Ignorance makes people easy to manipulate. But he also warns knowledge without discipline becomes dangerous. A person may read thousands of books, but if they cannot control their anger, greed, laziness, or ego, they remain weak. This chapter teaches learn continuously, observe silently, speak carefully, think before trusting anyone, never stop improving yourself. The atmosphere of the audiobook here should feel like the opening of an ancient kingdom, where a teacher is preparing a student for the harsh realities of the world. Chapter 2, The Danger of Foolishness. Chanakya had a very little patience for foolish people. He believed a fool harms himself first, then harms everyone around him. He says staying close to foolish people is like living beside fire. Eventually, you will get burned. One of his strongest lessons is never waste wisdom on those who refuse to learn. Chanakya observed that many people act without thinking, speak without understanding, trust without judging, and dream without effort. He considered these habits destructive. This chapter explores why intelligence matters more than emotion, why blind kindness can become weakness, and why choosing the right company shapes destiny. For the audiobook, this section can feel darker and sharper, almost like a mentor warning his disciple before entering the dangerous world outside the palace walls. Chapter 3, Friendship, Trust, and Betrayal. This is one of the most fascinating parts of the Chanakya Niti. Chanakya says not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Some people stay near you for benefit, information, opportunity, or until your power becomes disappear. He teaches listener to observe who supports you in hardship, who becomes jealous during your success, who disappears during your failure. According to Chanakya, true friendship is tested in illness, financial crisis, danger, and difficult times. But he also warns against excessive trust. One famous idea from Chanakya, even if a snake is not poisonous, it should appear poisonous, meaning never appear weak before the world. This chapter creates tension and psychological depth in the audiobook. It feels like political strategy mixed with emotional survival. Chapter 4, The Power of Self Control. Chanakya believed the greatest enemy is not outside, it is inside. A man defeated by anger destroys himself. A man controlled by greed loses judgment. A man trapped in desire becomes weak. Self control, according to Chanakya, creates true freedom. He teaches wake early, avoid laziness, control speech, control desires, avoid addiction, stay disciplined even when nobody watches. This chapter can be narrated with calm intensity, like ancient wisdom echoing through their silent hymns. Chanakya's message is simple: the person who conquers himself can conquer the world. Chapter 5: Wealth, Money, and Survival. Chanakya was extremely practical about money. He did not glorify poverty. He believed wealth is necessary because society respects success, financial security creates independence, and poverty often forces people into suffering. But he strongly warned against greed. Money earned dishonestly eventually destroys peace. He advises save wealth carefully, spend wisely, avoid unnecessary luxury, and prepare for difficult times. One major teaching from Chanakya: wealth should serve wisdom, not control it. This chapter feels grounded and realistic. It connects ancient economics with modern life surprisingly well. Chapter 6: Leadership and Power. This section reveals the political genius of Chanakya. A ruler, according to him, must stay alert, punish corruption, reward loyalty, and think long term. He believed weak leadership destroys kingdoms. Chanakya teaches that leaders should listen more than they speak, hide their weaknesses, study enemies carefully, and never make emotional decisions during crisis. He understood power deeply, not as dominate alone, but as a influence, intelligence, and timing. For an audiobook, this chapter can feel cinematic, like strategy discussion before the war. Chapter 7: Women, Family, and Relationship. This chapter is one of the most debated parts of Chanakya Neeti. Some teachings are respected, others feel harsh or controversial today. Chanakya discusses loyalty, marriage, parenting, family responsibility, and emotional attachment. He believed that family shapes the character, parents influence destiny, and relationships require caution and wisdom. Certain verses reflect the social attitudes of ancient India and may sound rigid to modern listeners. For an audiobook adaptation, it is important to present this chapter with balance, not as unquestionable truth, but as historical philosophy from another era. This creates maturity and credibility in narration. Chapter 8: Success, Failure, and Destiny. Chanakya did not believe success comes from luck alone. He believed destiny favors preparation. He repeatedly teaches work harder silently, plan carefully, and continue despite setbacks. Failure, according to him, teaches hidden lessons, but people fail most often because of their laziness, distraction, emotional weaknesses, and poor judgment. This chapter should feel inspiring and intense. The turning point of the audiobook where the listener feels mentally stronger. Chapter 9: The Harsh Reality of Human Nature. This is where Chanakya becomes brutally honest. He explains people change with circumstances, power attracts loyalty, fear controls behavior, and selfishness exists everywhere. At first, this may sound cynical, but Chanakya's goal was not pessimism. His goal was awareness. He wanted people to stop being naive, understand hidden motives, and protect themselves from manipulation. This chapter gives the audiobook emotional weight and realism. After discussing strategy, wealth, power, enemy, and survival, Chanakya ends with deeper truth. Life is temporary, pride disappears, beauty fades, power changes hands, kingdom rise and fall. So, what truly matters? Wisdom, character, discipline, and purpose. Chanakya ultimately teaches that the highest form of intelligence is balance, strength without cruelty, wealth without greed, confidence without arrogance, and power without injustice. And this is why Chanakya Niti survived for centuries, not because it comforts people, but because it reveals uncomfortable truths about life. Conclusion: The Fire of Chanakya. Imagine the final scene of the audiobook. An old teacher sits beside a fading lamp. Empires have risen, wars have ended, Kings have died, but wisdom remains. Chanakya looks at his student one final time and says, the world will test your mind before it rewards your dream. He reminds us, trust carefully, think deeply, act wisely, and remain disciplined even in chaos. Because life is not won by the strongest person, it is won by the person who understands people, timing, consequences, and themselves. Chanakya Niti is not a merely collection of ancient verses. It is a battlefield manual for life, a guide for surviving deception, building strength, and mastering the mind. And as the final words echo into silence, the listener realizes the real kingdom Chanakya wanted to conquer was the human mind itself.